It will be an understatement to say the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 has suffered some issues. The game has been delayed several times before its eventual release, raising concerns about its development and readiness. Not to mention that just before the game launch, the game studio CD Projekt Red suffered a cybersecurity breach that resulted in theft of sensitive internal documents, which was held ransom by hackers. When it's finally out, the poor performance was one of the glaring issues, especially on last-generation consoles such as PlayStation 4 and Xbox. However, what angers players most was being deceived by the misleading marketing. Pre-release game footage and promotional materials showcased a level of graphical fidelity and gameplay depth that many players did not experience upon the game's release. In fact, the backlash was so severe that Sony decided to remove Cyberpunk 2077 from PlayStation Store and offered refunds to unsatisfied customers. Microsoft also offered a refund to Xbox players. This move was unprecedented and highlighted the gravity of the situation. My own experience, however, was largely positive. I picked up the game at launch and played on my PlayStation 5, which didn't suffer from a lot of its performance issues. I enjoyed the combat and different ways you can approach a situation. The impact, recoil, and sound design of different types of guns offer a satisfying gameplay. Now I look back at the story, it kinda reminds me of Baldur's Gate 3. As the main characters, you both have foreign implants in your brains that's like a ticking time bomb, leaving you not much time to live. You embark on a journey to find a cure and met many memorable companions and villains on the way. A bigger plot is then discovered that ties your action to the survival of many others. At the end, without spoiling the story too much, you both held critical decisions that unlock different endings that could make you want more and go back play again. So the story structure is very standard, but it has many twists and turns and decisions with long-lasting consequences. It has always been a CD Projekt Red game story we asked for, but I also had my own complaints. By the time I finished most of the side quest and was standing at the end of the main story, I was just over level 30 on super hard difficulty. My build was not finished and my weapons haven't reached the top tier, but I didn't feel the need to continue. I feel like I was done with the game and ready to move on. That was not to say the game doesn't have endgame content. You can very well continue leveling up and craft all the gear to legendary so that you can make a meta build, but that requires so much grinding, which normally involves killing the same group of enemies over and over again and reset. And this is why you can see many ways of exploiting glitches to duplicate items passed around in the community. But the game shouldn't force its player to do that. So I didn't look back after credits rolled, and that was the best moment. But CD Projekt Red didn't stop there. After the troubled launch of Cyberpunk 2077, they embarked on a significant effort to address the game's myriad issues and criticisms. They released a series of patches and updates to remediate the problems and improve the overall player experience. Some major patches were released just a few months after the incident. They focused on addressing numerous game-breaking bugs, crashes, and stability issues on all platforms. Performance was largely improved. They also released several smaller hotfixes between the major patches to address specific issues and improve overall gameplay. These hotfixes addressed issues like quest progression bugs, broken AI behavior, and various graphical glitches. While CD Projekt Red's post-launch efforts to fix Cyberpunk 2077 were generally well received and improved the game's overall stability, it's important to note that the initial launch issues had a long-lasting impact on the game's reputation. Many players and critics remain critical of the company's handling of the situation and the game's initial states. However, in September 2022, the debut of Cyberpunk Edge Runners, a Netflix original animated TV series, turned the tide for CD Projekt Red. Edge Runner proved to be a resounding success. It not only revitalized the interest in the game, but also brought a fresh surge of attention to the entire franchise. Tens of thousands of players rush back to the game just so that they can destroy Adam Smasher with their own hands, myself included. It's at that time, players have realized this game is actually fixed. They can finally enjoy the world of Night City the way in which it was originally intended. Now, with the release of major DLC Phantom Liberty and Patch 2.0, I found myself yet again loading up my old save file and experiencing the change. The Night City is more beautiful than ever. After all these years, Cyberpunk 2077 is still easily one of the best looking video games on the market. The game does offer faster travel, but I couldn't help myself to just turn on the radio and drive all the way between my destinations. All the regions in the city are packed with content, and you can easily encounter some side quests and point of interest on your way. Additionally, there's no loading screens when entering and exiting a building. As a player just finished the Starfield, it was such a treat. Idris Elba is a welcome addition to the voice acting crew. I couldn't think of a better fit than himself as the person to portray Solomon Reed, the sleeper agent brought back to commission in the event of Phantom Liberty. We of course got some additional dialogue and performance from Johnny Silverhand, which immediately reminds me of all the great adventures we had together years ago. The perks and the attribute system are totally revamped. The level cap is 50 in the base game, with additional 10 levels added in Phantom Liberty, and the skill tree is simplified with meaningful progression. You will have a clearer target to make your build and face with difficult choices between perks when you allocate points. I never felt more excited each time I level up in this game. One of the best changes happened in netrunning and cyberware. You are now encouraged to explore and equip more cyberware to enhance different aspects of the build. Netrunning has become a more efficient and viable way to eliminate enemies, and this has unlocked a few more entirely new playstyles. I only wish they could give you more ways to respect your character instead of having to restart the game or rely on mods. This will surely boost the replayability in my opinion. Now there are many more other changes, such as vehicle combat, new police system, crafting and upgrading system revamp, and so on. They all contributed to a well-polished final product. Had the game came out originally in this state, it would definitely be a strong contender for the Game of the Year. If you still haven't played this game due to past controversy, I encourage you to give it a chance, or at least put it on your backlog. It took them a good few years, but CD Projekt Red has indeed made a game that we all deserve. Now, I can't help but feel relieved for the developers. During the 3 years of being the target of criticism, they have done nothing else but to rebuild trust. It was a long and stressful journey to redemption, and Phantom Liberty is the proper send-off to Cyberpunk 2077. Now they can finally put this behind them and focus on the next game. Now that's all I wanted to say on this topic. If you listened thus far, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in Night City.